Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I have that '08 Pontiac G5, 2.4 liter, 5-speed. This is the one with the cold air intake that ingested water and blew the motor apart. I still got to take that motor apart, so I want to see exactly what happened to it. When I pulled the pan off, it had chunks of piston in it. So anyway, I didn't make a video on doing the motor. Reason for that is because I just kind of didn't have time to make a video in regards to it. I just had to kind of get it done. But now that the motor's in and running, I had a couple of issues right off the bat. Number one, the mass air meter was not reading anything correct. It was completely askew. So I wound up putting another mass air meter in it. Okay, I got those readings right. Then I realized the upstream O2 sensor was basically stuck at 0. It had no reading at all. And, hello. And then once I got basically up to closed loop situation, in case you don't know what closed loop is when the computer kind of takes everything over and it basically makes its own calculations and stuff like that. Pre-closed loop is called open loop, and that's when there's a predetermined set of numbers that basically allow the engine to run to reach a certain point, and then the computer kind of takes over and allows for adjustments and stuff like that. Whereas when it's an open loop, there's really only very minor adjustments. Anyway, I'll get into that at some other point. So I just put an upstream O2 sensor in it. The one I took out was completely blackened, like soot blackened. So who knows if something happened to it from when the thing ingested water? I don't know. So now I'm going to do the first start, and then I want to start looking at all the information on the scanner and see what it shows. Because I could still have a problem with a map sensor. I don't know yet. Let's find out. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select data first. I'm going to look there and see what everything's showing this time around. Like I said, I had absolutely nothing from the upstream O2 sensor. Unless I revved it up, then all of a sudden I started getting a little bit out of it, but not much. Let's go to fuel trim. Is that going to show what I needed to show? Let's see. Okay, like I said, I already swapped out the O2, so I got a new one in there. Let's start this thing up and let's see what it shows. It should take a little bit for him to start doing something. Okay, see the upstream is starting to show a little action. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought I left it disconnected because it was stuck on 0 before. And if I revved it up, it would like maybe go to 40, 50 millivolts. That's millivolts that it's showing there. Let me let this thing run for a minute and see where I'm at. Alright, so now you see it's actually going up and down like it's supposed to. Let me switch to a graph. I can never remember how to get out of this. Hold on. So that's oxygen sensor number 2. Should go up, then come down. It's kind of moving quite a bit. I mean, it shouldn't move that much, in all honesty. That's that usually means the cat is failing. Let's see here. Why is this not coming out? That's why. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. See, 1 and 2 are almost following each other. So that tells me the cat's failed. But now, before, the upstream O2 sensor was flatlined the whole time. It basically looked like that. So that's actually good. That's long-term fuel trim. That means it's slowly dropping fuel out of it. I'm happy with those numbers. See, I was talking about loop status closed. Yeah, the cat in this thing's probably dead. That's the reason for that. So I'm not concerned about that. The cat was probably dead from the beginning. All right, let's go back to. Oops, no, it's not that. Not that. There we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, short-term trim, that thing was up. You could see long-term is up at 15 here. That's because short-term was going way high because the O2 was stuck close to 0, so it was making this thing run rich. So that's good. It'll eventually bring the long-term down, which is fine. So it's good. I'm happy with that. So let's take this thing on a road test and let's see what happens. So I don't think I have an issue with the map sensor. Actually, let me look at some map data and see what I can find. I don't think it's in this, but it might be. Let me see what I can find. All right, so it's showing map at 29. Somewhere, oh, there's Barrow at 90, so it's less, which is what it's supposed to be. It's substantially less, so that's good. I don't know what the actual number is supposed to be, but I know that that's actually a pretty darn good number right there. And map performance test 1 and 2 passed both times. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think now it's going to be road test time, and we can probably give this back to the customer. All right, so I just got back from the road test. I am actually back at the shop now, and I have my the new scanner that I picked up. I have that hooked up because I just wanted to mess with it a little bit. Everything went perfectly. Not sure why it's getting so dark there. Everything went perfectly fine on the road test, so I'm happy with it. It's ready to go back to the customer. But I wanted to use the scanner to just double check everything. So here's this scanner. Now, the neat thing about this is once you load everything in, here it has a thing called auto detect. If you use that, it'll automatically pick up the VIN number and it'll do like a system scan to see what faults are in the system. And I'll show you that at some point. I'm not going to show you that now. Nice thing about that is once it's done, you can actually click send email as long as you're hooked to an internet source. You click send email and it'll send an email to whatever email you want it to. And this way you can actually print up something for a customer if you want, like if you're doing work for other people. So now, as you see, this thing's got a whole ton of different vehicles you could choose from. Now, because this is a Pontiac, it doesn't have Pontiac listed. However, it has GM listed. So we're going to go to GM, and it just gives you a whole like little introduction about stuff and what it can do, and all the different vehicles. So you hit OK. Now, I will say this is not as fast as the Snap-on that I have, but it seems to be doing pretty good. I will give it that. I'm actually pretty impressed. Whether we VIN automatically, yes, read the VIN automatically. Turn ignition on. Okay, well, it's running. Okay, so there it is. 08 Pontiac G5. There's the VIN number. Yes. All right, so you can go health report, which is what I said. That's where it'll do like a scan of everything. Now, the one thing this thing won't do that or at least I haven't figured it out yet. My Snap-on one, if I do a health report, basically a system scan, once I'm done with the system scan, I can clear everything. I haven't figured out if I could do that with this yet. It doesn't appear that I can, but it might be there, and I just don't know how to do it. So here I'm going to go to system. Oh, that's system scan there too. Maybe that's actually different from the health report. Maybe system scan will allow me to do that. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. But I want to go to system selection. It's a manual transmission. Obviously, as you can tell, it's a touchscreen, which is kind of nice. I know it has stability enhancement. All right, so here we go. We could choose all the different modules that this thing can communicate with. Obviously, way more than a code reader will do. So, engine control. Let's go to read fault codes. I don't know if I'm going to have any. I might have induced something. I don't know. Let's see. Do I have anything? Idle speed high. Not really quite sure why that is. So we're going to go to clear DTC.
Did that take care of the other issue?
Sorry about that. I just had to explain something to Mo. All right, so we're actually going to go back. Like, I am just learning this thing. There's a lot of different things you can do. I did do the special functions. You could reset the oil life this way. You could do the crank position relearn, which I did do that. Clutch pedal position learn. That's kind of interesting. I did that. Heater oxygen system learn. Sensor heater learn. Okay, that's weird. I've actually never seen that either. So, but I'm not concerned about that. Let's go to, IM system information. That's for monitors. In case you're wondering what monitors are, that's for the inspection system. When you go to do state inspections, depending on where you are, and they have to plug you in, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to make sure that they're not haven't been cleared. If they're cleared, that means somebody either disconnected the battery or whatever, and you have to wait for the monitors to pass. I'll explain monitors in another video. Data stream. Let's do this. Engine data. Let's just look at a couple different things here. Airflow calculated. Let's see. This is nice because you can pick what you want to see. Let's see. Engine coolant. Oil pressure. Let's just go with that for right now, just so we can see it. Now you hit OK. So here you have different sensors. Engine oil pressure switch is okay, whatever. Engine coolant temperature, airflow calculated. Now, if we come over here, this is kind of neat. You can hit that, and there you can actually see a graph of what's going on. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that it just does that with the one click. My Snap-on does not do that. Let's see here. I hope I'm on the video good for you guys to see it. Now here, obviously, that's coolant temp, and that's holding steady, as it should. Man, the glare is terrible here. So, and it's holding steady because it's 192 degrees. So, but the nice thing about that is, like I said, you can pick and choose what you want to see at a given time. So let's see. It'll tell you module information, clear fault codes, actuator tests. Here you have output control. You can choose what to cycle on and off, and you can have air conditioning relay, cooling fan, ignition relay, fuel pump, loop status, spark control. There's a whole bunch of different things you can adjust and monitor while you're working on it. So I find that very helpful. I'm really sorry about the glare. It's terrible, and there's nothing I can do about it. So anyway, that's it. So this car is all done. It's all set, and it's ready to go back to the customer. So hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.